Welcome back. You're watching the Power Breakfast Show. Now, this morning our conversation is going to be on a condition known as dyslexia. What is it? Who does it affect? What are the signs and symptoms? What we need to do, as well as trying to understand the statistics as to how many children in Kenya are affected by this condition. And to help us understand this, we're joined by Miss Nancy Munyi. Excuse me. She's a teacher and she deals with children with dyslexia. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming.
Welcome.
And let's first start with the, trying to understand what dyslexia is. What is dyslexia?
Dyslexia is a learning difficulty, specific learning difficulty, which affects reading, writing, and spelling.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you say it's a learning difficulty, I'm trying to understand. I can't read words. I can't speak. I can't. What exactly is going on?
Yeah, with the children who have this condition, they are classified in categories. There are those who can't read completely.
Okay.
They have word attack power. It's a problem. There are those who have phonological problem, and there are those who have comprehension. So they can read, but they cannot understand. Their memory processing is quite low. Yeah.
What brings about dyslexia?
The causes of dyslexia can be described in two categories. There is primary dyslexia, which the child gets from the genetic order.
Okay. They've inherited it from family.
They inherit it from the family. And there is secondary dyslexia, which is affect the child from fetus and then from after birth.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we say child, of what age are we talking about? What ages are we talking about?
Dyslexia gets a child can be as early as before birth.
Before birth, yes,
yeah.
Like we found out, secondary, yes.
And still we have no remedy. It's a lifelong condition.
It's a lifelong condition?
Yes.
So if I'm diagnosed with dyslexia, if I was diagnosed with dyslexia when I was younger, that means that is something that I carry forward? You
carry forward, but with the proper intervention, there is a way you can be able to live positively with it.
Okay. Now, we are saying that these children cannot read, cannot write, and you've added something, they cannot comprehend passages. But then when you do research on this condition, then you find out that children with dyslexia are considered very, very intelligent.
Yes.
How is this?
Yeah, having condition called dyslexia does mean that your IQ is low. Most often you find like the IQ goes above average. The brain peripheral, which involves reading and writing, is what is narrow, but the other part is quite huge and very functional.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then with your work with children with dyslexia, as you see, most of them tend to be very intelligent. Is it true that they then tend to align themselves with arts and crafts?
Yes.
They tend to be very...
That is true, yeah.
Why?
Very mechanical.
Yes.
Very technical. Yeah, with the arts, music, and anything else apart from reading.
That does not involve reading or writing?
Reading or writing as well.
Okay. What are the statistics in Kenya? How many children suffer from dyslexia?
There hasn't been like a proper
unofficial documentation, yes.
Yeah, about the children who have dyslexia. But according to World Health Organization statistics shows that 10% of population is dyslexic.
Wow, wow. And then there was a report that was done by the WESO last year or this year that said children in standard 8 cannot comprehend a passage that has been set out for standard 3 students. Would you say that some of the dyslexic children could be found there? Yes,
they could be found there, but still we have maybe the statistic that was carried out maybe was not only carried out to children who are in school. Maybe they could have taken children out of the school,
as well.
And it doesn't mean that a child who is out of school who has not been taken through learning process simply because he can't read, he's dyslexic. We are talking about a child who has gone through proper learning process, and has not been able to capture reading well and spelling, even if the teachers have put a lot of effort. Yeah.
Let me ask you, and before we go further, what are the signs and symptoms, you know, of dyslexia? There are, of course, time lapses as a child is growing up, that by the time they're 2 years, they should be able to, you know, differentiate the alphabetical order. 3 years old, they should be able to, you know, continue now, start making progress in construction of sentences. 4 years, then maybe read a book. So what are the signs and symptoms?
As soon as the child is taken to school, there are those expectations that a parent have, that by this time of the staying in class, I'm expecting the child to have acquired alphabet at this speed. But you find like a child with dyslexia will have a problem capturing alphabets. As soon as, you know, what happens in preschool, there are rhymes and songs. Most of the children do not have, they don't come back home with songs and rhymes as much as they are used at school. And also when it comes to now reading words, they may have word attack power. They may not they may have problem with word attack power. They can't read words as they have been presented. Then so they have phonological problems. So combining alphabets to make phonics, it's a problem. And now making phonics to words is a problem. Yeah, there are those who have the most characteristic that you may find that they have problem with B and D. They interchange, where it's B, they write D, M, W, N, N, U. Yeah. And let's get something straight. Just because a child has dyslexia doesn't mean they can't speak. They can actually speak. Yeah. Okay. According to some assessment, you find that acquiring speech, a child with dyslexia may have delayed speech, but that does not mean that all those who have delayed speech have dyslexia. Yeah. Okay. But they will speak, but it will be delayed speech. Not all of them. Not all of them. Yes. There are those who could start speaking, but they cannot. Well, but they still cannot be able to read properly. Yes. Yeah. There's an article I read that says children with dyslexia tend to, you know, ask them to spell. They'll spell how you pronounce things. Exactly. So if it's house, it's H-A-U-S. Knife, N-A-I-F. Yeah, school, school is what we call skull. You see, skull is S-K-U-L. Yes. But they will spell the word school S-K-U-L, the way, and that's the way they also write. That's the way they write. Yeah. Let me ask you, as a parent, you know, how should they deal with such a scenario? Because it can be equally frustrating. And imagine you paid school fees, you sent your child out, and then when it's just spelling the word house, it's H-A-U-S. The first thing that a parent maybe fights that what's wrong with this child, because most often you find that these children are bright outside the school, but now when it comes to classwork, they are the bottom always, and that brings a lot of frustration to the parents, because what you expected when you took a child to school is that we all have this expectation that this bright child will bring better position. But what happens is that it's opposite. You want your child to be number one? Of course. Yeah. Always. Yes. But when this child does not bring that, first thing you think like, is it my problem? Am I giving him what is supposed? Is it the problem of the teacher? So the first, in preschool, you find that the teacher and the parent are like conflicting, because the child maybe even have problem with doing homework. There are those who have problem with the transferring work from the blackboard to the book. So they'll have like always not have finished the homework. So now the parent is involved so much to help the child do the homework, and now the teacher is like expecting the child, after giving homework, it will be done. Now it is not done, and mostly you will often you find that after some kind of frustration, the parent opts to do the homework for the child. So in the class, the child does not get. But what he has carried home, he gets it right. It's done well.
Yes.
So it means that now the teacher and the parent start conflicting because of a problem. Maybe none of them is understanding. Yeah. So ideally, what should parents do if they found themselves in such a situation with a child who's dyslexic? Well, I'm not going to say that the parent is not going to be frustrated. The teacher also is also frustrated because he puts a lot of effort in this child, and there are children in the same class who are doing very well, and this one is not doing well, and like what am I not?
Where am I failing?
Yeah,
as a parent.
Both of them.
Yeah, and
the
teacher as well.
And the teacher is like the child is not doing enough. In fact, most of them, they are said that they like playing.
They're not concentrating because also their concentration span is a bit short. It's not a full, what you'd expect from a child. Yes.
And then they blame that the child is not concentrating. That's why he's not getting it. Yes. So it's the child now is like, you are not doing enough. You are not interested, and of course, it is known as slow learners. If I like, he's a slow learner, and that's now when the parent starts now becoming like, what should I do? Yeah, the best thing that a parent can do for the child is being patient. After all, you need to take the child for assessment and understand the position, and then from there you're able to move forward positively, because no matter how many words you call this child, no matter how much stigma you put him into, it's not going to help.
And like you said, the thing is, they're very intelligent, and so maybe it would be important for them to also nurture the talent that is coming out from this child.
Yeah, but the real picture is the teacher's work could be measured by how much the child been able to read. Now, the teacher will put so much effort to such a time that the child is denied the child time. You can't go out to play because you have not finished homework, you are not reading well, therefore you are not going to go out, you are not going to be involved in the activities that other children are involved in. So most of the time you find the child is left in class. Actually, it's quite expensive because they are the same children who are taken through private tuitions. The teacher is
comes home in the evening or the weekend.
On the weekend, and so the child is denied that time that he requires to realize his potential and also his talent.
And just a quick reminder to our viewers, one of the wealthiest people in the world, Sir Richard Branson, is actually dyslexic, and he was so frustrated growing up, he quit school when he was 16, but then ended up founding one of the biggest airlines in the world.
I like his articles because he doesn't forget to say that I was not able to read up to some certain level.
Yes. Yeah. And I was going now to ask you, at then what point, after intense therapy and intense training, at what point then can we start seeing changes, in our children?
Children, it depends on how severe is the child affected. There are those who are mild, they are moderate, they are profound, and they are severe cases. So at the level of you're going to how soon you're going to see the changes is depending on how the child is affected.
Do we have enough trained teachers for dyslexia? I'm not going to say they are not there, because a teacher who has gone through training will have been taught how to handle children who are not performing. But what we have is the pressure of performance, that the teacher does not give time to this one who is a slow learner, who is not capturing properly, because his target is to have minuscule. If there was some mechanism on how to help them, the teacher would be able to do that. But we have a child with severe
condition. Remember, they don't have any other characteristic that shows that these children have special needs. It's only when they are reading, writing in class level.
Yes.
In a class tuition, that's what shows that they are not performing like other children.
Yes.
So their academic is what is not right.
Yes.
If the child is at a situation where it's above moderate and severe, you need to develop a program called individualized education program in a class tuition, so that you can be able to give this child some individual time. Yeah.
And I'll just read a few messages here. A good one here. Our daughter is dyslexic and is in the University of Nairobi second year. You know, I guess, and we'll come and talk about reversing this trend. I'm just feeling my daughter is almost like what you're discussing. She doesn't do classwork, even homework. But I think this is different. But when it comes to exams, she performs well. I think this is different. Then, hi, my son has all those problems we have talked about, and he's in class 4. He plays a lot, and in class his concentration is low. What can we as parents do? Is that one question? My son had dyslexia. I took him for assessment at some place, I don't know where this is. They said he was hyperactive, but his IQ is very high. That's Veronica in Kangemi. Then Kathy in Nakuru. How I wish all teachers and parents would be aware of this condition, because they end up scolding or worse, caning the child. But I want to also bring up something here. Dyslexic children tend to be hyperactive. Is that a defense mechanism, or they're not? They're not.
Like being a hyperactive child doesn't mean that you have dyslexia, neither of them. But hyperactivity is a different condition, dyslexia is a different condition, but they can be found in the same child.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So it's not. But now we are seeing someone here who's, you know, whose daughter is at the University of Nairobi second year. So this is something that is actually reversible.
My son is in second year, Jomo Kenyatta.
Dyslexia?
Yeah.
There we have it, a personal account. So how did you deal with it? You know, and I think you're now talking as a parent, because there are a few parents who are asking and saying, how do we deal with this? Like the lady whose son is in standard 4.
First of all, just like I said before, it was really quite frustrating. I'm a teacher, I taught my son. He couldn't read properly. You can imagine, other children are reading, and my child, having given him all the benefits,
yes,
he's not reading.
Yes, a teacher,
so
it was really, son.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. But I realized that he's a different person. He's a different child when he was in preschool. Therefore, my intervention started at that area. He is good in mathematics, in science subject, but his problem was specifically in reading, spelling, and writing. Mostly not reading, because he could read, but his spelling was terrible. And also his problem from transferring work from blackboard to the notebook, he used to get tired so fast. So when I realized engaged a program called Odd Blocks, I'm not going to say that it helped him so much if I was not able to know how to apply it and how to help him. Yeah, because it's quite like in the same class we had a child who had almost the same, but he didn't perform like he was because his intervention was not done at home level. So at school I was doing with him and at home. So he had that benefit.
So there's a benefit. So that's why parents, you know, should also be aware of this and also try and see that they can get trained so they can help that process. Yes.
Still, a child with the learning difficulty, not just dyslexia, a teacher alone cannot be able to help alone. You need to work together, the parent and the teacher, and not like blaming each other that who is not working, who is not helping. Yeah. Okay,
so it's a combined effort, and parents have to put in the effort to do that. Okay. So can we say that the condition eventually goes away?
I don't want to say it goes away, but I want to say that person is able to now realize his position in the academic, and he's able to now work out positively, especially if the child realizes that my effort is not here and then is somewhere else, is not frustrated. The word is frustration, because you can imagine a frustrated teacher, a frustrated child, and a frustrated parent.
Yes.
And the child does not know. I remember my son asked, why can't I spell like the others? And I really didn't have answer for that.
Yeah.
Because maybe I even didn't know. I was like, you are just being lazy, you are choosing not to.
Okay.
How can someone in standard 7 spell his name in 5 different ways? So
Okay.
it was that.
So it's a condition that doesn't generally go away, but you become more aware of what you can do and what you can't do.
Yes.
And ideally then you should strive to, you know, work towards what you can do.
What you can do, yeah.
And do it well.
Yeah.
And do it well.
Like I remember him in mathematics is doing well, and then we came to some kind of an agreement. Let no one defeat you in mathematics in his primary level. Let them defeat you in spelling, and now he had some like a shoulder to lean on, that if he's frustrated at school, he comes home, and then I like, okay, we understand
what's going on here.
Yeah, we understand that you are not going to write as many compositions as the teacher says, because after all
point.
He can't finish a page. Yeah.
But because you're good in math, this is what we're going to focus on.
Focus on that.
And this is no one is going to beat you here.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Focus on your strengths, and the rest we'll try and work on it. But for now, focus.
Actually, when you work on your strengths, the weak starts coming up. In fact, that's why we talk of what is the present level of performance of a child. At this level, what are his strengths, what are his weaknesses?
Yes.
And even when you're developing the IEP, you need to work on what are his strengths and what are his weaknesses. Now, you work on the strengths to try to mitigate the weaknesses.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. And then this month, of course, has been Dyslexia Awareness Month. We've had different forums for this, and there's an event coming this weekend.
Yes, we have an open day.
Yes.
It is going to take place at Kitengela, where we have the school.
Yes. Is it Kise?
No, Kise and KCCL did on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So you're going to be in Kitengela.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what exactly should people expect?
We're having children performance, entertainment, and their art. The children have their art.
They display their
art.
Okay.
Yeah, we have guest speaker who had dyslexia.
Nice.
And he's a lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Oh yeah, that's nice.
So we are trying to make sure that we get the people who have gone through the journey to be able to help those who are still coming up, and so that to help the parents understand the condition.
And it's in Kitengela.
Yeah.
Where in Kitengela?
Just within Kitengela locality, but we have a school down there.
Called, just for the people who might be interested to come?
Yeah, it's called Rare Gem Talent School.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Kitengela. Starts at what time?
At 10.
At 10.
Yeah,
all right.
1.
Nancy, a lot of people are sending in messages and are asking for your number, so I'll give you this opportunity to give out your number so that they can be able to contact you, because it looks like it's a condition that many people are suffering from but don't know how to go about it. And I guess because you're a mother who has been through it, you would be in the best position. So please give us your number.
My number is 0721 62 18 42.
0721 62 18
42.
1842.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure having you and trying to understand what dyslexia is about. It's a learning difficulty. It is not a life sentence. Yeah. Because we've seen quite a number of successful people come out from it. Sir Richard Branson, your son, is successful in his own right. There's a girl who's at the University of Nairobi second year, like we've been told. This Saturday the speaker will be a lawyer, you know, who had dyslexia. So it is not a condition that is life-threatening. It can only become life-threatening if you refuse to change your mindset, on it. And like Ms. Munyi has said, focus on your strengths. You know, once you realize that this is what is going on, focus on the strengths. Sorry, there's something you wanted to say?
Telling people we have a website, Dyslexia Organization Kenya.
Dyslexia Organization Kenya. .com.
Yes, and then they can get to our Facebook page, Dyslexia Kenya, like it.
Okay, all right.
There is so much information about dyslexia in that.
There's a lot of information. Dyslexia in Kenya. What did you say the website is? Dyslexia Kenya Organization. And on Facebook, Dyslexia Kenya. Thank you so much for coming, and wish you all the best on Saturday. And we do hope that you've been informed and you learned something new this Monday morning. For sure I have. Now, don't go too far. Of course, we'll be joining Francis Gashuri, who's in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, but he'll be giving us an update of the election results. Election, of course, took place yesterday, one of the hotly contested elections, rather the first hotly contested election in Dar es Salaam. So we'll be joining him a bit later to give us a brief. But for now, let's enjoy some music from our choral group this morning, known as Pamba Africa Chorus. Enjoy.